In this short video, I'm going to share with you 12 test-taking tips so that you can pass your IB exam. Number 1, write your entire answer down and then round to 3 significant figures unless they tell you otherwise. If you get an answer in your calculator like 42.5678 and there's more decimal values, you want to make sure that you write down at least 3 or 4 decimal values before you round. Why? I've seen way too many students who are just going to write down 42.5 without showing the unrounded answer, and that is rounded incorrectly. I have other students who write 43, and sometimes the IB exam is not going to give you credit if you overround to only 2 significant figures. Or worse, you round to 40, they're definitely not going to give you points for that. So you need to first show your unrounded answer. If you show your unrounded answer, you would still get full points even if you rounded it afterwards as 42.5 or 43. Of course, here the correct answer is going to be 42.6. Number 2. Follow through is your best friend. Let's say that they give you a question where you have to figure out an angle and you have no idea what that angle is, but the next 2 questions are an arc length and area of a sector, which are super easy. What you're going to do is that you're going to write down whatever it is that you can come up with to the best of your ability. Now, you're not guessing blindly, you're doing the best that you can to get an answer, but if you don't know, worst comes to worst, write down a value, let's say 72 degrees. And then you want to follow through with the rest of the problem, showing your work, how you're substituting into the formula, let's say here for the area of a sector, and using your 72. What's going to happen is you're going to get this wrong, of course, because it is incorrect, but you can still get 2 points through follow through. Number 3, know how to use numeric solver on your graphic display calculator. It is a game changer, and I have some students who are so addicted to it that they forget how to solve a basic equation, but it is definitely very helpful on the exam, especially when you have logarithmic problems that you have to solve. Number 4, remember that on paper 2, nothing you write on the actual test paper gets submitted to IB to get graded. Everything gets written on a separate document. And I say this because my first year teaching this course, I had one student who wrote all of her work on the test paper itself. By the time somebody even told her that she was doing it probably incorrectly, she was not given more time to transfer her work onto her answer document. Therefore, she did not pass the IB exam that year, not because she didn't know the material, but because she was writing everything on the exam paper for paper 2 instead of the separate answer document. Number 5, there are multiple points of entry on a test question, so push through. There was a question on the May 2022 SL exam, paper 2, worth 15 points, where they asked you in the middle of the question to find the area of a circle. There was nothing tricky about it. It was a 2-point question, and if you look at a problem and you're like, oh, it's so hard, I'm never going to get any points, you need to push through each part because sometimes there's multiple points of entry and you can still get 1 or 2 points. And trust me, every single point counts between passing and not passing the exam. Number 6, the best way for you to study for your IB exams is to do previous past exam papers. There are 2 time zones, time zone 1 and time zone 2. It is best for you to do as many problems as possible so that you get comfortable with how the exam is worded and you can practice your skills. Number 7, remember, you get absolutely no points for just copying down a formula. You need to substitute into a formula. You're always going to be allowed to have the formula packet with you on the SL exam, and therefore it is best for you to substitute into the formula if you're going to use it. Every once in a while, they will give you 1 point for recognizing you're supposed to use cosine rule or sine rule or SOHCAHTOA. Number 8, you must know all 5 statistical applications. That is chi-square test of independence, chi-square goodness of fit test. That is Pearson's R, Spearman's RS, and your t-test. Trust me, they are going to be on your exam. If you have no idea what else to study, make sure that you know all of those really, really well. There's 5 of them. If you see it on paper 1, chances are you're not going to see it again on paper 2. If you didn't see it on paper 1, then that night you better study for it for paper 2. Number 9, on the IB exam, any work that you cross out will not be graded. And you don't have to cross out by going crazy and, going like this to all your work. Simply scratching it out means that the grader is not going to grade those responses. However, be careful, because if you don't have the time to write down a correct answer, you're going to lose all the points for all the work that you did. And sometimes it's better to leave that incorrect response, which could still give you some points, than crossing it out and having nothing on your paper. As a rule of thumb, you are going to be testing in degree mode, but your calculator, when you reset it, gets set to radian mode. So make sure that you are putting your calculator in degree mode and that your stat diagnostic is on so that you can see your correlation coefficient R. Number 11 should be common sense, but I cannot even tell you, as the years have gone by, how terrible my students' handwriting have become. No examiner is going to sit there trying to decipher your handwriting. They are grading hundreds and hundreds of responses. Make sure that your 4s look like a 4, your 5s look like a 5. I have students of mine who test and they can't even read their own handwriting. So please practice your handwriting. And finally, number 12, remember, p-value is based off of probability, and probability is a number from 0 to 1. Which means be on the lookout for E in your calculator responses. But be careful, don't write down that E. That E means scientific notation. So if you get an answer like 4.67 blah, 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 I'm already skeptical to see a 4 for a p-value, because p-value is supposed to be from 0 to 1, which means that probably there's going to be a negative at the end of that E, which means that you should write your response as 4.67 times 10 to the negative 21 power. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more help with math.